in space. No one can hear you. Craft? Hoi folks, and welcome to today's video. My name's Sean, aka Uncle Frogface. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. I have decided to set myself a challenge today. So it's currently Thursday, the 15th of August. It's the day before the release of Alien Romulus, and I am a huge Alien fan. It's one of the few films that ever scared my dad growing up. So it just holds a place dear in my heart. And as you know, I like building things. I like building props and creatures and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, why not challenge myself to do a one-day build for Alien Romulus? And I happened to find this amongst my stash of stuff. It's a wooden egg, and I thought, you know what? I've got an egg, got polymer clay, I've got paint. Think that's all I need. So I'm doing a slightly different edit today and taking inspiration from my friend Terran. So when I first started out with this project, I had this egg, which, no good. It's got a plastic inside. So this wooden one is going to be much better as an armature for this build, because obviously polymer clay has to go in the oven. But I want to be able to get the egg out of this. So I'm wrapping it first in tin foil, 2 layers of tin foil, just to keep it nice and secure and to keep a barrier between that and the polymer clay. So I'm using Super Sculpey, and I've got 3 different kinds of Super Sculpey. That white one there is the super soft, and it's so lovely. It's so light. It's like marshmallow to work with. So I'm scoring that line around the middle. That's going to be where I can separate the egg once it's been baked, and I will be baking multiple times in this. It's like a save button in your crafting, so you can sculpt a bit, bake it, it goes hard, you can sculpt over the top and bake again and do again and again and again and gradually build up. So we've now got a nice hard shell. So this is really a much firmer armature, because it's not a completely even cut. I'm making a little mark here. This is just so I know when I separate the pieces, that's how it goes back together. And to separate this, I'm just going to take a craft knife, run it around. I'm literally just cutting through the foil underneath. I'm not even going deep enough to cut the egg. I'm literally just making a little graze across the wood, and then there we go. It just separates nice and easily. I can take that egg out, and that's done. I can use that for another project in the future. I do have to take out all of the foil from this, but I am going to be reusing it, because inside the Xenomorph egg there's all kinds of guts and gore and goo, and in fact when the original film was made, they couldn't figure out how to get that slimy inside thing, so it's a practical effect. They actually filled the inside with sheep innards and intestines and all sorts, and the director put his hands inside from the underneath and moved them around to give that undulating feel. So that's what this little ball is here that I'm making now. It's the innards, what will be the innards. We're also going to pop a little bit of a nod to the face hugger in there as well. So this strange fluid that I'm using here and mixing over the top, this is liquid polymer clay. It acts as a glue, so you can glue pieces of polymer clay together, and when you bake it, it just goes super hard like clay. I will say it does smoke quite a lot. It does leave smoke in the atmosphere, so do be aware of that. But it also gives quite a nice texture, so when you put it over the top of something, you can see inside here it kind of gives this really weird, almost kind of vascular texture on, there we go, on that innards bit. It's just going to sell the whole inside of an egg thing even more. So I want to seal the cut mark that we've got so that we can't see that in the future. And again, I'm just using a little bit of that liquid clay and then a little bit of that super soft clay just to smush into that hole, smooth it all off, and we'll have a nice smooth transition. Okay, it's time to start working on details. So I've got this clay here. This is the medium Super Sculpey. This is the one that most people will be familiar with. And I'm just taking these even blobs and creating these kind of not quite discs. They're a little bit more organic than that. And I actually need 4 of these because these are going to be going on the sides just like this. So the egg actually has some quite unique designs on it, and it actually evolves as the movie evolves as well, or as the movies evolve. They do slightly change. I'm a massive H.R. Giger fan. Giger actually designed the Alien and the eggs and everything else, and yeah, I was using one of the books for reference as well, and honestly an amazing artist. I'm not going to say child friendly because there's some very sexually explicit things in those art reference materials, and actually you can see those in the designs of the aliens as well, and it's a whole topic I could go into. But essentially I'm just building up texture here. Now a lot of this you're not going to see. I mean it looks really kind of in your face right now because it's a different color clay on this, but when we get to painting this you're going to see how this all blends together. Now Johnson's baby oil, any baby oil, amazing for smoothing things down, so great for organic sculpts. Just put a bit on a brush, smooth it down, and it's fine. And when it's baked you get this lovely smooth texture. So now I've got the sides of the egg done, I want to do the top of the egg. So these 4 kind of vascular meaty petal bits that open up, and again for this I'm using Super Sculpey. This is a Super Sculpey hard, and I'm using the hard just because it's going to keep its shape in the oven. I'm not going to have to worry about it moving at all, which is definitely what I want. And I also want to create a base for this. So my idea for this is to kind of go with the tendril feel. So again, tendrils are very much a Giger thing, so I'm just taking the very soft Sculpey, creating these snakes and then laying them down like this, and this is going to create a lovely base. It'll all mesh together once it's been baked. I'm just going to take a little bit of Super Sculpey, pop it around there, pop it all together, pop it in the oven, and when it's done we get a really nice base. There we go, you can see it's all in there. So now we've got the framework for the petal bits at the top. We need to flesh these out a little more, and they are really fleshy and they've got a kind of musculature to them. They have this central vein and then bits coming off of that, so I'm going to try and replicate that with this, again using the medium Super Sculpey because it gives a really nice fleshy feel, and it kind of looks fleshy as well with the colour. So in my head it's kind of helping that process, and hopefully you can see now we've got that kind of ribbed muscle look in that. And with all 4 of them done, this is what we are looking at. Now I also want to create a bit of a lip around the edge of all of these, so I'm just going to use another snake of clay again in the medium, and I'm going to blend this all together. Again, it's lending into that kind of very meaty look that these eggs have at the top, that kind of muscle that they have. So I'm putting this down initially and just popping it all around, and then using that silicone tool to smooth it in to what's already there, and it will just give this kind of lip around the outside. And you can see there just how, yeah, organic and fleshy that looks. Similarly with the very bottoms of the openings, they actually have a few creases in there, so to replicate that, a few very small snakes of clay, and again smoothing them in with the silicone tool, and we get a really nice thing, which again is going to be picked up when we do the painting. More snakes of clay now, and this is very much a Giger trope, are these kind of tubular tendrils again, but they kind of look semi-mechanical. So I'm just using the edge of a plastic tool and rubbing it along, and they kind of look like worms as well. Again, it's very kind of androidy in that kind of fleshy but robotic thing as well. And then this is my face hugger. So in the original movie, when the egg opens, you kind of see a little thing move on the inside, and it's the tail of the facehugger before it jumps out and gets onto John Hurt's face. So that's what I wanted in here. I wanted the tail of the facehugger as if it's getting ready to jump out. So this is a primed egg. This is one that is ready to go out. And here we are, all baked. That is the sculpting completed. Now on to painting, and I want a solid black base for this. Just like that, because this is going to do so much work for us when we're actually painting, because it's a very dark movie, or it's a very dark prop as well. It's kind of greenish on the outside, so by using the black I can pick up the green by doing some dry brushing, and then we get that colour there without going too over the top with it. And that's what I want to do with this whole thing, is I want to just build colour. So I'm doing a little bit of a dry brush, drying it, a little bit more of a dry brush, drying it. Similarly with the inside as well, because it's so fleshy, I want to build the colour, I want to build tone. So this is just acrylic paint, by the way, and I've watered this down. This is a mixture of pink and yellow, and I'm doing a little bit of a wash in here, drying it, slightly varying the tone, coming back, painting again, drying it, building up layers, and eventually we get this. And you can see I have painted the tail of the facehugger in yellow as well, but I want to make this pop with some neon paints. And that's what the neons look like, just picking out a few of those highlights. So this glue that I've got here, Yoo-hoo glue or Oohoo glue or whatever you want to call it, this is great for slime and blood and drool and all things like that. It's a very quick drying rubber cement type glue, so you can mix it with paint. I've used this for blood splatters in the past, and you can see it's already starting to dry. It's already going rubbery, and you can just do this, touch one point, touch another, stretch it across, and you get these kind of viscous, gooey points. And the more paint you add, the more opaque it can go, or you can have it really, really see-through as well. And here it is, all finished, and I am so happy with this. Look at that. I'm so pleased with how this came out for something that literally took 3.5, maybe 4 hours to complete from start to finish. It just looks so visceral and so real. I'm in love with this. So this will go up on display in the office. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do, because there are big changes coming on the channel, and I'd like to keep you all updated about what is happening. So hit the notification bell as well, so you don't miss any notifications and videos and all that stuff in the future. As always, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video, and until next time, goodbye.